Hello, Airport Explorers, and welcome to our last Pearson Airport Explorers Camp of the year. Wow, 2020, what a great year. Since we first launched the program in April, we now have over 600 official Pearson Explorer Club members. So we're really excited. Thanks to all of our members who've been joining us today and over the summer and fall. And today we have a very special edition for you. Today we're going to look at the many people who work at Toronto Pearson Airport, or as we call them, our people of Pearson. So as I was saying, for those of you who are first timers to the Airport Explorer Clubs and our camp, you can become an official Explorer Club member by joining up on our website. And as an official member, we'll provide you with more fun activities and inside information each week. So be sure to sign up. And although this is the last camp for 2020, don't worry, we're going to be holding more camps in the new year. Dates will be posted on our website later in January. So keep watching for more information and links to register. So before we move along to our presentation that looks at all the great people who work at Toronto Pearson to make sure that it runs safely and smoothly, let's say hi to a few of my friends who will be helping me again today. So where is everybody? Oh, there we are. And my name's Catherine. And I'm the one on the top left corner. And speaking about jobs at the airport, I think I have the best one of them all. And as the manager of community outreach, that means I get to work on great programs like the Pearson Explorers Club and meet with people in the community to talk about all the great things that we do at Toronto Pearson. And let's meet Ruba. Hey, Ruba, you want to tell everybody who you are?
Hey, Catherine. Hello, everyone. I'm Ruba. I'm the person to the top right corner of your screen, and I'm the manager of community investment at Toronto Pearson. I have to say, Catherine, I do disagree with you, as I truly believe that I have the best job at the airport. This friendly fight can go on forever, I know. In my role, I get to work with incredible community organizations that operate around the airport and help them in their efforts to actually get people jobs. You see, Toronto Pearson is really more than just an airport. We are a strong part of the community and we are here to help it thrive. And you will see a lot of that today at the camp. But for now, I'd like to introduce you to Hayes. Take it from there.
Good afternoon, Air Explorers. My name is Hayes. I am a senior officer in noise management. We really work together with the entire team, with all of the wonderful people at Pearson, to make sure that our flight operations are as quiet as possible for our neighbors around the airport. And as you can see, I am definitely the brightest star of the bunch, as I'm the only one not wearing sunglasses. So think about that. Kathy, off to you.
Hello, Pearson Airport Explorers. For those who don't know me, my name is Kathy Buchan, and I work with this amazing team. And I think both managers have great jobs, as Hayes and I have a great job too. And I get to work on fun projects such as the Pearson Airport Explorers Club, and to develop the content behind the scenes and to sort of talk about all the great things we do at the airport.
So Explorers, you can see we're a bit of a friendly, crazy bunch, but and I think we all agree we all have the best jobs ever. Okay, so I'm going to leave this slide up a little bit longer. So you can write down our email addresses and our website, because we'll put it up later. But the reason I'm asking you to write down this information is that we'll be giving you a special activity at the end of our camp today that we'll ask you to complete and send to us. So Kathy, can you tell our Airport Explorers why it's a good idea for them to send in their work?
Yes, I can. Airport Explorers. Everyone should send in their work, because by sending us your work to traffic control at airportexplorer.club, just like in this email here, before December 11th, your name will be put into a draw to win some really, really cool prizes, such as an Airport Explorer Club hat, an amazing t-shirt, and a 100-piece jigsaw puzzle. And if you've joined us each week and sent in all 3 of the activities, your name will be put into a draw for a chance to win a Chromebook. Yes, I said a Chromebook, Airport Explorers. The draw for the Chromebook will be on December 18th, and we'll email the lucky winner of the Chromebook shortly after that. We'll also be contacting all of our winners of hats, t-shirts, and jigsaw puzzles, so don't worry, Airport Explorers. So make sure to remember to send us your work. And by the way, if this is your first time you're joining us, you'll still have a chance to enter the Chromebook draw. Just go to our website and watch the 2 previous camps where you will find 3 activities we assigned then. Catherine, can you give a recap of what activities we did in our first and last week's camp?
Sure, Kathy, that's a great idea. I'll tell you, in our first camp, both Case and I got a little messy playing the flight attendant relay race. And I'm not going to go into too much detail about what we did because I want the explorers to check out this activity themselves. But I can tell you, I certainly had fun. What about you, Case? Will your family let you play that game again?
Oh, we had a lot of fun, Catherine. And my wife said no longer inside, but we're still good to go for outside. So I'm very happy about that.
That's good to know. And then last week we had like 2 activities. The first one, we worked on a maze to help Billy and Bailey, 2 of our YYBs, find their way back home to their hives. And we looked at this really cool word scramble. So I'm still working on this activity and will likely have to download the answer key from the website since I'm having a couple of problems figuring out the answers. And Kathy, I know you have another cool activity planned for us today, don't you?
I do, Catherine. Yes, I do.
Perfect. And Hayes, can you tell our airport explorers what else they can find on our website?
I sure can, Catherine. So there's a lot of cool things on our website, which is airportexplorer.club. And it ranges from activities to decode messages using the aviation phonetic alphabet to a lot of other really cool stuff. And explorers can do any activity. For instance, other ones like identifying airports by their airport code. For instance, we all know that Toronto Pearson's code is YYZ. And Catherine, how do we do that in the phonetic alphabet?
I knew you would call on me. Yankee Zulu.
That is correct. Great job, Catherine. So apart from that, we have mazes and other games that you can play, and even instructions to help you build your own plane or even a kite. We have some really cool interviews in our airtime section with a pilot, even an astronaut, and a few of the amazing people who work at Toronto Pearson. So be sure to check that out. Our previous camps were all recorded like we're doing today, so be sure to check them out online. And don't forget to tell all of your friends and your family that they can watch our camps as well.
Yeah, because we don't want you just having all the fun, right, Case?
I always have a lot of fun, Catherine, but I am more than happy to spread all that fun around.
That's good. Yeah, so thanks, Case, for all this important information. And so before I hand it over to my friend Ruba, I'm going to tell you, let you know how this camp is going to roll out. So first of all, we're going to look at our Airport Explorer presentation and learn about the wonderful people of Pearson. Remember to pay attention to some extra inside information and some clues that will help you later when we play some trivia. And then next we'll hear from some of the amazing people who work at Toronto Pearson with us, including our own CEO, Deborah Flint, who will talk about why they love working at Canada's biggest airport so much. And after that, we'll play trivia. And then after trivia, we're going to introduce to you 2 of our very special guests to learn about what they do and why they love working at Pearson Airport so much. So unfortunately, we won't be able to answer any of the great questions that were sent to us last week or any of the questions that come in today in the chat box, but we promise to answer them in January at our next camp, along with any of the questions you might have about today's camp that you send to us with your work. So, and then we'll end our time together with Kathy and Hayes, who will walk you through an activity that gets our explorers thinking about what they would like to do when they grow up. So, Ruba, are you ready to go?
Of course, Catherine, I am super ready. Airport Explorers, let's go. So today's presentation is called People of Pearson. Let's take a look at just some of the jobs there are at Toronto Pearson. Well, thousands of people work at Toronto Pearson Airport. It takes lots of people to make sure that everything runs smoothly and safely. There are so many different jobs for people with all kinds of interests and skills at Pearson Airport. Let's check some of them out, and maybe by the end of this presentation, you'll find the right job for you.
I'm looking forward to this, Ruba. Thank you.
At Toronto Pearson, think of the airport as a small city. So many people work for so many companies there. there is one organization that keeps everyone working together, the Greater Toronto Airports Authority, the GTAA. That's our team. So Case, Catherine, Kathy, myself, we all work for the GTAA. We make sure that everything is running smoothly and safely. But how do we do it? Well, of course, everyone has an important role to play.
Yeah, and ours is just dealing like our group, you know, Case, Kathy, and Ruba and I, as we were saying, we're the ones that deal with the community and talk to the community, and we try and show the community how we're a good neighbor. But then we also have other people who actually make sure that the airport is running smoothly and safely. So let's look at these people.
Yeah. Well, lots of people work to keep everything organized because, you know, it's very important for an airport to be organized. For example, our resource coordinators, they choose which baggage belt your luggage should go on to get to the right plane. That's a very important job. They also choose gates for arriving and departing planes so that passengers can get on and off the airplanes quickly. And did you know that there are 154 gates at the airport? It's like this big giant puzzle to figure out the most efficient place to put each plane. So if you like puzzles, maybe you would be interested in becoming a resource coordinator.
That would be good. But I want to ask you a question. Ruba, do you remember how long our baggage belts are?
I have to think about that, but I'm thinking, and it might be close or not close, I would say 33 kilometers.
Ding, 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 ding. You got it right.
I was paying attention. Yes, yep.
I know. Okay, so one last question. I'm going to trick you up here. What goes up? What kind of luggage goes on the baggage belt?
I would say the checked-in luggage.
Oh my gosh, you were paying attention. And of course, you can bring on carry-on, which is just like a small bag where you keep your like iPad and books and things like that.
Yes, even for sure.
Even a little dog.
Or a snack.
Snacks, yeah, that's good. Yep.
Good. At the airport, we also have tons of complicated mechanical systems. So some of the things the GTAA keeps working include lights, plumbing, air conditioning, heating, because that's very important. You know, you don't want to be too cold, you don't want to be too hot, elevators, baggage carousels, and bridges from the gate to the plane. We have hundreds of electricians, plumbers, technicians, mechanics, and other workers who keep all these systems humming. So if you like hands-on work, one of these jobs might be right for you.
Ruba, are these called trades jobs?
You are absolutely correct.
Okay.
These are jobs in the trades.
Gosh, can you imagine how many lights that are on at the airport?
Oh, I can't even begin to think of the number of lights we have at the airport.
Millions, I'm sure.
Millions. I have to find someone to ask. Well, sometimes the airport also needs to change the actual airport buildings. And that's why there's a GTAA team that works on construction. They expand terminals and build parking garages and cargo warehouses. They also maintain the runways. Our GTAA engineers, they bring these projects to life. So if you like building things, an engineering job could be a great option for you.
Yeah, I don't think I could be an engineer. You have to have good math skills for that.
Well, you know what? Good thing that you love working with the community. So yeah.
Yeah, no, it's good. I can talk a lot. That's good.
But also we don't only work inside the terminals. The team works hard outside too. The GTAA has a huge team of de-icing specialists who make sure that the planes are free of ice before takeoff. Now, I do remember in last week's camp that we were talking about glycol and what you spray on the planes to de-ice them. This crew drives big trucks with special attachments that sprays a special liquid, the glycol, onto the airplanes to prevent ice buildup. If you like spending time outside in winter, this also could be a job for you.
I guess that's called seasonal work, right? Because they only work when it's winter.
That is correct. And we also have, I think, is it the largest or biggest de-icing facility?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And remember Steve, when he was telling us last week, Steve was telling us that we make sure that all the glycol that's sprayed gets into a special a special tank. And what do they do with?
Yes.
Yeah, and what do they do with it again? What does the glycol turn into?
I think we we recycle it into antifreeze for cars, right?
Yeah, that's right. I
Sure.
remember that. No, you're right. You're right. I remember. Thanks.
And there are also other people who work at the airport. They work for the government. For example, as you go through security, you will see agents from the Canadian Aviation Transportation Security Agency, or for short, CATSA. CATSA agents check bags for any items that aren't allowed on airplanes and take you through the metal detector. They are trained to identify objects using an X-ray machine.
That's the one that you walk. Oh, you also walk through an X-ray machine too when you go through customs, right?
Yeah, but this is the one, with the belt. You have to take off your watch, sometimes your shoes.
Yeah.
And you put them in trays. Yep.
Take your iPads out of your cases. Yep, I remember that.
That is correct. That's an important thing. Now, if you're flying into Canada from another country, you'll meet officers from the Canada Border Services Agency. These officers are responsible for screening all the passengers that come into Canada from other countries. They check your passport and make sure you don't have any items that aren't allowed to enter Canada.
They also have have you used the kiosks, the check-in kiosks when you come in? Have you seen those when you've flown into the airport?
I think so.
Yeah, you can check in there. And especially if you're a Canadian citizen, you can go in there and go through customs. You can fill out the customs forms through there. We've got a lot of new technology moving into the airport, so it makes things easier and safer.
Good to know. Other people at Pearson work for government agencies like NAV Canada or Transport Canada. Our airport explorers might remember learning about NAV Canada in the slideshow that was called On the Runways and Inside the Towers. If you want to know more, the same slideshow is available on our website. NAV Canada is in charge of all air traffic controllers in Canada. Transport Canada creates the rules to keep all the different forms of transportation in Canada safe, and then makes sure everyone follows them.
Do you remember where the NAV Canada? So the NAV Canada people don't work for the GTA. They don't work with us. There's a different agency, right?
Right, and I think they have their own tower too.
Yep. You remember what color it is?
I'm thinking either blue or purple or green.
Greenish. Yeah, it's the one.
See, it was one of those colors. Yeah.
Wow, yeah, and that was very good. It's the one, Explorers. If you go near the airport and you look around, you'll see two towers. The one in the middle of the field is NAV Canada's, and they're in the middle of the field so they can see everything, like all the planes taking off and landing. And then we have another tower, which is called the Apron Tower, and that is connected to our Terminal 1, and that's where our GTAA people work, and they make sure they talk to the pilots as the planes are getting loaded and unloaded and ready to move over to the runways.
Also, not everyone who works at Toronto Pearson works for the GTAA or the government. There are people who work for other companies like airlines. The first employee you may meet at the airport is an airline customer service agent. They can help you check in for your flight and drop off your bag. If you like helping people, this could be a good job for you. Catherine, have you ever wondered where your bag goes after you check it?
Yeah, I do. It goes onto the plane. I hope.
I hope. One would hope, yes.
Yes,
but,
it does. It does go on that big conveyor belt. It does go on that big conveyor belt. Yeah.
All of that information actually could be found on another one of our slideshows called All About Baggage.
Yeah, one thing, Ruba, like not too many people go up to the customer service counters now. We have special kiosks again where people can check in and you can actually put your own bags in.
Yes, you can drop them off actually to the side.
Yeah.
After you do your own check-in, I think it's that one machine, you scan your passport, you choose your flight, and it just prints out your luggage tags, I'd say. You put them on your luggage and then you drop them off.
You are correct.
Well, I've traveled a couple times, so, you know. Now, lots of airline employees work hard behind the scenes to get your plane ready for takeoff. Some planes fly a few times a day, so they need to be cleaned after each group of passengers leaves. Now, especially now, it's very important, and it's a very important job, and we try as much as possible to make sure that every plane is cleaned thoroughly. Airlines have aircraft groomers who make sure the plane is in tip-top shape for new passengers. They can pick up garbage, wipe down surfaces, make sure the bathroom is well stocked, and much, much more.
And everything's super duper sanitized because, yeah, we want to make sure that we have a very, very healthy airport at Toronto Pearson.
Yes, we do. We do indeed. Now, airlines have their own maintenance engineers who make sure airplanes are safe to fly. Do you see that guy next to that huge engine? Oh my God, or wow. Before takeoff, they inspect the airplane and make sure that the engine, electrical system, navigation systems, and radios are working. An airplane cannot take off unless the maintenance engineer gives the thumbs up.
And pilots do their own safety checks as well to make sure that all systems are working. So it makes me feel super safe flying because of all the safety checks that go on.
Yeah,
these are important jobs, eh?
Very, very.
Boy.
Yep.
I'd be stressed.
And just like a city, Pearson needs workers who can help with any emergencies. There are 88 firefighters who work at the airport and who can get around fast if they're needed. These firefighters are also trained as paramedics. If you're good at keeping calm, this could be the job for you. Catherine, here we say that they get around fast, but how fast do they?
I think if there's an emergency, they have to be at the site within 3 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah.
3 minutes.
So that's from when they get the call and then they jump on and then they drive over. That is super fast.
Super fast, especially when you think about how big the airport is.
Super fast.
Well, did you know that that we also have a special school that trains firefighters and emergency services professionals? We call it FESTI, F-E-S-T-I, Fire and Emergency Services Training Institute.
We also have 3 fire stations.
And 3 fire stations, that's correct. That is correct. Well, speaking of how large the airport is 14 times the size of Canada's Wonderland. Now, I've been to Wonderland and I know how big it is. So if you think how, if you take that and multiply it by 14 times, that's a lot of floors, garbage cans, and bathrooms to keep clean. The airport has a huge team of hardworking custodians who make sure that everything is sparkling. You often see them in the airport's terminals and buildings, and it is very important that they help keep everything clean so that passengers stay healthy and safe. You know what, this is a great time for us to also say thank you to all of them for their hard work.
Oh, for sure. For sure. They work to make sure that we keep everything like sanitized and safe for all of our employees and for our passengers.
Yeah. Now, recently, we also have many automated robot cleaners who keep things tidy. Do you see that shiny thing?
Flashing.
Yes. Yeah, flashing. Yep.
Seems very happy.
Yeah, it does look like a happy robot.
Happy robot.
Sure. Happy robot. Now, if you need a ride to and from the airport, we have taxi and limo drivers that can take you from the airport to your home or hotel and back again. If you are taking the Union Pearson Express train, you can get help from a guest service representative to buy your ticket and figure out your route.
Boy, there's so many people that are needed to make sure that the airport works properly.
Yes. It's like a small city, really. When we say small city, it is a small city.
Yeah. Oh, I'm getting hungry.
Yeah. Oh, good looking food. The last time you flew, you probably saw that the airport was full of restaurants and stores. Those stores are managed by private companies, and they have lots of employees who work for them. There are many food service workers who work 24/7 to make sure our passengers don't get hungry.
Yeah, unfortunately, right now though, we have our restaurants are closed a little bit because of COVID. But they'll as soon as the airport gets thriving again, they'll open up and there'll be lots of a variety.
100%, and some of them are world-known chefs, I think, running those airports. Those restaurants, right?
Yeah.
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 We had some pretty great options, which will come back soon. Now, while you wait for your flight, you can also do some shopping in different stores and kiosks inside the terminal. So we have retail workers who keep the shelves well stocked and help you find what you need, whether it is snacks for the plane, a good book to read, a new set of headphones, or even a souvenir.
I wonder what the most important souvenir is coming from Canada. What do you think?
I mean, you know what? I love two things. I love maple syrup, which I think is I would buy this every time when I go anywhere to give to people, and there's ample quantities at the airport. And I love snow globes. Do you think we can find a snow globe at the airport with Canada on it?
Probably, and a fridge magnet.
And a fridge magnet for sure. Yeah. All of these. We have many chefs and cooks who work behind the scenes for private catering companies at the airport. Some of these companies cook and package the meals that you eat on airplanes. If you like food and cooking, this could be the job for you.
Yeah. Boy.
There are also some unusual jobs you might never have thought would be found at an airport. For example, veterinarians who make sure that animals entering Canada are healthy. We have chaplains who hold religious services for passengers and staff and offer counseling. We also have uniform administrators who make sure everyone at the airport has the correct uniform. Now that's a job I'd like to explore. We have lost and found coordinators who help people find items they lost at the airport.
Those are very important jobs. Veterinarians, who would have thought that there would be a veterinarian working at the airport?
Right. But then it's an important job too.
Yep.
Yep.
Wow.
Wow, look at that plane.
Wow.
There are so many more people working hard at jobs that keep the airport running. We couldn't fit them all into this one slideshow. And if you look very closely at this plane, you can see many, many, many more jobs listed here. Catherine, can you see some of the other jobs that listed on the plane?
Yeah, like lawyers.
Okay.
Accountants.
Yeah, right. There is carpenters.
Well, some of them are really small. I can't read. Baristas.
Yes, there is. Oh, there's carpenters. I keep reading the same thing. Millwrights.
Falconers. That would be a cool job. That'd be a cool job.
Is it the one taking care of the falcons?
Yeah. Yeah, explorers. Okay. Yeah, you have to see our animals at the airport camp. Explorers.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was cool.
Okay.
That's cool. Well, thanks, Ruba. That was
thank you, Catherine.
That was like super interesting and a lot of information to remember. So explorers, remember what he said. We're recording today's camp and we'll put this recording up on the website tomorrow so you can watch it again and share it with your friends and learn more about the people who work at Toronto Pearson. And you can also watch our camps that we've held over in the summer and the fall. So now let's hear from some of our very special friends about who they are and what they do and why they love, just like Ruba, Kathy, Hayes, and I, working at Toronto Pearson.
My name is Deborah Flint. I am the president and CEO of the Greater Toronto Airport Authority, and we are the corporation that owns and operates the awesome Toronto Pearson Airport.
I'm the Director of Baggage Services, which means that I move bags with people, with passengers.
As part of the welcome team, what we do is we walk around, and the first thing we do is we put smiles on people's faces.
I am an air traffic controller, and I work in the tower right in the middle of the airport.
Well, my team of wildlife control officers and I are actively involved in trying to keep the airport safe by reducing the amount of wildlife collisions between the birds and the airplane.
So my team focuses on you and your family, our passengers, whenever you're coming through our airport. And we look to find different ways to get you through as quickly and as efficiently as possible. And then when you make it through security onto the other side, we try and find fun activities for you to do.
My name is Judy Cameron, and I was the first female pilot to be hired by Air Canada on April 10th, 1978.
It's a great job. I'm so honored to have the job. I get to see people traveling every day, the coolest of airports. I get to work with people that are protecting the environment, scientists that are figuring out how to have new technology in the airport. All sorts of great things happen at the airport, and I count myself really, really lucky to be able to work at the airport.
So in order for me to do my job, I have to have all that stuff working together, and it's almost like a team sport. So therefore, when everything goes together and everyone is playing their position on the team, then we win. And most days we win very well together, and that's the fun part about my job, that it's a team effort.
Is at the airport, you get to meet all types of people, people who are older as well as little ones. You know, we've had opportunities to have the dogs sit and play with children while adults have been able to, while their mom and dads have been busy getting their tickets or dealing with their baggage, and we just sit and play with children. So what we really end up liking is that you get this large variety of people, people who are going on vacation, you know, people who are going to work, and they all have stories that they want to share with us. So that's why we really like the airport.
I can't say that I like it, but I'll tell you that I love it. It is the best job in the world. I wouldn't want to be doing anything else. Every time I go to work, it's different, and it's always a challenge. So that's what I really like about it. So I do really like my job. I love it.
I love knowing that every day I'm doing my part to help try and keep the airport safe for its passengers. I also love working with animals and just being able to be outside in nature. It's also, you never know what's going to happen, so every day is different. So I really like that.
The one thing I loved the most was travel. I got to see the most amazing sights.
The most important memory of an airport to me, and that was a time when I was flying back. I had moved to Africa, actually, with my family, and we were flying back to live in the United States, and we flew into Amsterdam Schiphol Airport, and I was so excited. I was so excited when I stepped into that airport. It felt like I could see the whole world in front of me, and I felt just a great sense of, like, you know, being in a place that was going to take me back home to where my friends were as a young person. I was just a few years older than you. And I realized then that airports were such special and cool places.
I've loved airports and airplanes ever since I was a little kid. And when I was a kid, I used to come to the airport just to watch airplanes take off and land all day long. The first time I flew on an airplane, I was 1.5 years old, and it was when my family was coming over from India. And the first place I ever landed in Canada was right here at Toronto Pearson.
I went to London, England with my grandmother. So I remember we went there late at night because a lot of the flights that fly to Europe leave in the evening. So I was young, so we sort of took off. I sort of fell asleep. I remember falling asleep sort of half on her lap. Woke up the next morning, and then as we walked through the airport, I heard people with different accents, and it was really amazing to me as a kid that you could fall asleep in one area, you wake up in a whole other part of the world with people with different accents, and it was a great trip.
Today, it's just such a great time because in your generation, all you explorers get to go online and see such amazing things. So I would encourage you to, when you're online, I know you want to have fun and do things like TikTok, but there are also some really, great information that you can have and that you can learn about all the different opportunities in aviation. You can look and go onto the websites of every airport practically around the entire world and see what that airport is doing.
Well, my advice to everyone out there who would want to be a controller would be to learn about it. Go online, find out what air traffic controllers do, and decide if it's something that you'd like to do. Another thing you can do as well is write the practice test. There's a practice test online that'll give you some of the insight into the testing that goes on for becoming an air traffic controller. And then the last thing would be to, once you've decided to do something, really put your mind to it and follow your dreams. And if you want to be one, you can be one.
Okay, my biggest bit of advice would be don't limit your options. I didn't know what I wanted to be when I grew up, so I didn't take math in grade 12. When I became interested in becoming a pilot, I had a year of university, but I had to go back to school. I had to take math in summer school so that I could go to my aviation college. So don't limit your options and be open to new experiences, things like a flight in an airplane for the first time. Make sure you just look around you. There's lots of opportunities. Don't let anyone stop you. Don't accept the word no. Don't listen to people if they say you're a girl, you can't do this, there aren't any female pilots. Don't listen to them. Do what you want to do. Listen to yourself and believe in yourself.
We're always here to help. So the next time that you're traveling through, pop by and say hi, even if it's just to ask us a question or talk to some of our staff at the customer service counters. We've got some volunteers wearing bright blue vests that are always around to help you through and just to make your experience a little better.
Wow, thanks everybody for sharing your experience with our explorers. So explorers, I hope you can see how Pearson proud we are. Every day brings a new challenge and excitement, and we have so much fun working here. So Kathy and Hayes, are we playing trivia now?
Yes, we are.
Perfect.
I'm ready, Catherine. Okay, Airport Explorers, are you ready? Let's see what you remembered from the presentation Ruba gave you and Catherine. Do you remember the clues that were given? And let's see if we can remember the answers. So this week, we are going to ask you 5 questions instead of 10. Please remember these questions in your head or challenge your brothers or sisters or your friends or even your parents who are with you to see who can get the most questions right. I know this is Yeas's favorite. He always tends to get 100%. Let's see if he can get it today.
So much pressure on me, Kathy.
Don't worry, I think you've got this, Hayes.
Okay, let's see.
Yeah. This trivia, Airport Explorers, is just for fun, so don't worry. You don't need to email and send us your answers right now. This is just for you to practice at home and see who can get the most answers right. Hayes, I know you're ready.
Let's do this, Kathy.
Let's do it. Question number 1, Airport Explorers. What does an aircraft groomer do? Hayes, what do you think? Does the aircraft groomer cut the airplane's hair? What? Does the aircraft groomer clean the inside of the airplane? Does the groomer change the oil on the airplane, or is the aircraft groomer paint the aircraft? Hayes, what do you think it is? And you better
Kathy,
not pick number 1.
I've never seen any planes with any hair, so either of those groomers are doing a fantastic job giving them a clean shave every day, but I don't think that's the right answer. I think that the groomers actually clean the inside of the airplane.
Okay, Airport Explorers, I hope you didn't pick number 1, and I hope you picked what Hayes did. Clean the inside of the airplane. That is correct. Airlines have aircraft groomers to make sure the inside, as Hayes said, of the aircraft is clean and ready for new passengers to board. Okay, let's go to question number 2. Who makes the airfield run smoothly and safely? I know we talked about that in the presentation. Do you think, Airport Explorers, it's the manager of the terminal operations? Do you think it's the manager of airside operations? Do you think it's the beekeeper? Or is it the manager of community outreach? Hayes, Airport Explorers?
I think Catherine is the manager of community outreach, and I don't know how I feel about Catherine running the airfield, Kathy. So I don't think that's the one. I think it's the manager of airside operations, because I think all those things happen outside in the open air, and that's really how I tend to remember that.
Let's see the answer, Airport Explorers. Manager of airside operations. That is correct if you chose number 2. They make sure that all 5 runways at Toronto Pearson and the roads on the airfield are clean. They also make sure that grass in the summer is cut and airside roads are safe for everyone to drive on. And like a little tidbit, Hies, everybody who works at the airport and who has a special license to drive airside is responsible to make sure that it's clean. So we have this acronym, it's called FOD, foreign object debris, and it's everyone's responsibility to make sure they pick that up to make sure that the airside is safe.
That's a good bit of information, Kathy.
Yes, let's go to question number 3. What's the name of the team that sprays glycol on the aircraft during a snowstorm? Do you think it's the welcome team? Do you think it's the community relations team? Do you think it's the de-icing team, or is it Canada Border Services Agency? Wow, that's a mouthful.
I remember the word glycol from our last camp, Kathy, when I think was it our last camp or 2 camps ago, when we met Stormwater Steve, and he talked about glycol and how we make sure that the water streams around the airport stay clean. So I think that has to do with de-icing.
I think you're right, Airport Explorers. What do you think it is? Let's see the answer. It's the de-icing team. That is correct. So the de-icing team, this amazing crew that you see in the photo, they drive big trucks, as you can see in the back there, and they spray liquid onto the airplanes to prevent ice buildup during flight. That is a very, very important job, and they're very thankful. Look at that. They wrote on the apron there, CDF is thankful. Question number 4, who keeps the terminal sparkling clean? Do you think it's Transport Canada? That's one of the government agencies that work at Toronto Pearson. Do you think it's the custodians? Do you think it's your teachers? Or do you think it's your parents who keep the terminal sparkling clean? Hies, what do you think it is?
I remember from the presentation that Ruba gave us today that it's the custodians, and that they have a super important job now, so even more than ever, to make sure that everything is clean and in tip-top shape in the terminal buildings.
Yes, and looking at this photo, I think it's custodians too. Let's see the answer. I think it's custodians, but also now we have these cool robots that you see there. Custodians keep everything clean so that passengers stay healthy and safe. Pearson also has automated robots like this photo. They're cleaners too. And there's around 400 organizations, including air carriers and transit agencies, that are implementing health and cleaning methods at Toronto Pearson Airport. So there's a lot of people working to make sure that the airport is healthy and clean. Question number 5, true or false, Airport Explorers? Veterinarians work at Toronto Pearson. Hies, do you think it's true or do you think it's false?
I think that could be true, Kathy, because I also remember that there's cargo planes that look like big animal pens on the inside with like little cubicles for every single horse. And I think a veterinarian then has a really important job at the airport to make sure that all the animals that come into the airport are in healthy and are in great shape, to make sure that everything in the country stays safe and clean as well.
Okay, if you get this one right, Hies, I think you're going to be 100% again.
Fingers crossed, Kathy.
Okay, let's see the answer, Airport Explorers. If you chose true, that is correct. Yes. So Hies got 100%. And so a group of dedicated veterinarians, as Hies said, work for the Canadian Food Inspection Agency, and their job is to inspect animals arriving at Toronto Pearson Airport. They inspect animals such as horses, pigs, and cows. And do you know why they have to inspect it?
To make sure that they're all healthy, right?
Yes, because we know farmers feed cities, so we want to keep our farms healthy as well. Okay, Airport Explorers, that was so much fun. Hies, did you have fun?
Always, Kathy, so much fun.
Case is such a smarty pants too. He always gets them right. Thank you.
He does, Catherine, he does.
Seriously, you guys scared me with that second question when I saw that perhaps manager of community relations managing the airfield. I don't think so. Anyway, that's not our job. So Ruba, what's up next?
Well, explorers, we have a couple of very special guests joining us today who are going to share some interesting information on working at Toronto Pearson Airport and in the aviation industry. I'd like to introduce you to two more of our friends, Linda and Zara. Welcome to our Explorers Club, Linda and Zara.
Thank you, Ruba. Hi, Pearson Explorers. Thank you so much for having us today.
Well, thank you very much for being here today. So I'll start. I have a few questions for you. First off, please introduce yourself to our explorers and quickly tell them a little bit about yourselves.
Hi, everyone. I'm so happy to be a part of the Airport Explorers Camp. I'm Linda Cardenas, and I'm the manager of talent acquisition. I work with a team of people that helps people find careers at the airport. And our job is like a puzzle. We need to find the right people to fit the right jobs. Similar to what we were talking about de-icers, our puzzle piece for that is looking for individuals who love working outdoors, especially in chilly weather, that are safety minded and enjoy working at heights and are customer service minded. So that's kind of our puzzle piece. Zara, can you see that?
Yeah, well, my name is Zara Andrade, and I actually manage the organizational learning team here. And my team helps develop really cool programs that help other leaders at the airport learn about all of the different things that are happening at the airport. We also get to help with some of the mandatory training that we require in order to make sure that our airports are a safe place for everyone to come to work.
You guys have some also great jobs. But let's take it a little back. What did you want to be when you grew up? This is one of my favorite questions ever.
Oh my God, Ruba. I wanted to be a lawyer because I love debating. But if you ask my mom, she would probably say I just love to argue. But ultimately, I think why I wanted to be a lawyer was because I wanted to help people. And as I grew up, my lawyer dreams were put on hold because I found a new love, and I found a love in human resources. And this career has allowed me to still pursue my love of helping people.
Great. Zara?
Well, for me, I wanted so badly to be a fashion designer until I realized that I really was able to talk more than I could draw. So I ended up moving into customer service, and that ended up being a really great fit for me. So I spent a lot of time there learning how to deal with customers and what to do. But definitely my dreams of being a fashion designer were not in line with the skills that I had.
Well, you know what? Customer service requires a lot of creativity. So you're selling yourself a little short there, and I'm sure you're using a lot of the skills there as well. Love the answers. Our next question is, what is the best part of your job? For me, for instance, I love my job because, well, first of all, I get to work at this magnificent place called the airport, which is full of people and interaction and all of that. But at the same time, I get to spend a lot of my time helping the community. So for me, it has this very fast pace, but also centered around helping people. So this is what I love. What about you guys?
Oh, Ruba, like you, I love working at the airport and meeting new people. It's super fast paced and no 2 days are ever the same. What I love most about my role is I get to congratulate people on their new opportunities at the airport. I get to find the best candidates for multiple roles and then being able to celebrate their successes and watch their careers grow in a place that I love.
Cool. Zara?
Well, for me, the best part of my job, handling learning, has been really incredible. And I'm definitely on the competition of having the best job on this call for sure. I will say that part of my job in developing the programs that we do, we get to meet with a lot of the leaders. So as part of my job, I have to learn about so many other jobs that exist here at the airport. So for me, it's really given me an opportunity to learn so much about all of the different things, whether you work on the airfield, whether you work on the interior of the terminal, whether you happen to be doing electrical work on the runways rather. There's so many different jobs to know about and learn about that my job lets me talk to all of these people and learn a ton every day.
Excellent. What's the funniest thing that happened to you while you were working?
Ruba, I'd say the funniest thing that's happened to me had to do with a late interview. So that's what I do. I interview. And I had scheduled a candidate to meet with me, and being late is a big no-no for us. And I was waiting for the candidate, and I noticed that she was running late and I hadn't heard from her. So a few minutes later, I checked my email and I received an email from the tower letting me know she was just parking the plane. She had flown a commercial aircraft and would be a few minutes late. Now, I tend to get a lot of excuses when people are late, but this is the first time I've ever heard she was late because of air traffic. So I thought that was pretty funny.
And Zara, what was the funniest thing that ever happened to you while working? Do you have a story?
Yes, absolutely. When I first started, I think most people usually, when they're attending meetings for work, usually the meetings are in the building that they're in. Well, my first week, I was supposed to go to a meeting and I looked everywhere in this building. I was probably looking for about 25 minutes until I realized that the meeting was in the terminal building. And it just dawned on me that from that moment on, that my meetings could really be anywhere across the entire terminal, and I would need to make sure that I planned to get to and from the meetings within my day.
Well, you know what? I can't tell you how many times I got lost at the very beginning, getting to meetings at the terminal. Hayes was very kind and actually gave me directions, maybe one too many times. Poor thing, I kept asking him questions all the time. For our
it's a
last,
big place.
It is. Again, a small city. We keep saying that.
Mm-hmm.
Our last question is actually a very important question. What advice do you have for our explorers as they start planning their own careers? What should they think about as they continue their education? Any classes they should consider or any skills they should practice developing?
Such a great question. So I would probably recommend trust the explorer in you. Be inquisitive. Do the research. Ask lots of questions. Follow your heart, and if you love something, focus on it. If you want to be a pilot, ask pilots lots of questions. Get a feel for what they've done in the past. Use social media. There's a ton of people on TikTok and Instagram that talk about their careers and all of their adventures. And what I love to hear about is I love to hear about adventures and kind of picturing myself in their adventure. There's a few high schools that are available out there that offer flight simulators as part of their curriculum. So there's a lot of different opportunities available. And there's also quite a few aviation colleges and universities in Ontario and across Canada that would be able to give you the experience that you need. There's also educational fairs that you could participate. We actually participate in a few, and they talk a lot about the different jobs available at the airport, which could be anything like fire and emergency services, IT and finance. I look at the airport as a choose your own adventure. Every door opens so many different opportunities. Just be comfortable knocking on those doors.
That's a really great question, and I really love the fact that we're giving some of our explorers some, maybe just a tiny bit of homework to do a little bit of stuff after our call today. My advice is really, anywhere you go and any job that you look at getting, the one thing that's common is going to be that you're going to need to talk to people. So my recommendation is when you've got book reports and when you've got, maybe even shoebox projects that you're doing in class, take the opportunity to speak publicly. Get comfortable in front of people and answering questions and talking to people, because no matter where you go, you're going to need to speak to people. And if you're comfortable speaking publicly, you're going to have so many different opportunities open up to you. Very similar to Linda as well, in terms of classes or things that people can do, you don't necessarily need to always go to something formal. There are so many YouTube videos and things like that that you can look at that will teach teach you so many things. I know that my son has gotten really into learning about the airport and planes, and we've discovered things like Flight Radar 24. We've discovered a lot of different websites that we can use to take a look at what happens to be flying in the sky right now. So be curious, ask questions, and research things. You know, if you're not sure of something, don't wait to ask anyone. Go ahead and put it into a Google search and see what comes up. And don't be shy. You know, it's always the case that people feel shy and uncomfortable when they have a question, but most likely someone else has a question as well. So really put that explorer hat of yours on and don't be afraid to research and look things up.
Oh my gosh. Thank you, Linda. And thank you, Sarah. That's amazing advice. You know, I mean, I think all of us can say that we're always learning every day in our jobs. I mean, I'm always having to do research. It's really important to sort of stretch your wings and push yourself and learn as much as possible. And yeah, public speaking's another thing that people usually get worried about. So that's a good soft skill or a skill to work on. So thanks so much. Remember, Airport Explorers, if you have any questions about today's camp, be sure to email them to us with your work, and we'll answer them in January when we get back to see you. So thanks again, Linda. Thanks again, Zara.
Thank you so much for having us.
Oh, you guys are the best.
So much fun.
So now, moving on to my favorite part of the camp, we're going to go to activity time. So, Kathy, what are we doing today?
Thanks, Catherine. Today, because we are young airport explorers, we want to think about the future. And so we're going to be putting our best foot forward. That's what the activity is called. And we are going to use this activity to find out what we love to do, what jobs we'd like to do when we grow up, because we heard of so many. And like in the last couple of camps, we talked about many different jobs, such as a pilot, an air traffic controller, environmental scientist. So explorers, we won't have time to complete this right now. So this is just a little explanation on what this activity will be all about, so that you can work on it afterwards with your friends and family. And as Catherine mentioned, you can watch this part of the camp tomorrow if you need to refresh your memory. And you can download this activity on our website under the Discover and Learn section. So Airport Explorers, are you ready to go? Hies, are you ready to go?
I am ready, Kathy.
Let's go over our activity and learn about what you'd like to be when you grow up. So, Airport Explorers, here are the materials that you'll need. You'll need coloring crayons or pencil crayons. If you don't have those, we can use a pencil and a blank piece of paper. Because I love crayons, because I love to color. How about you, Hies?
I love to help my daughter color as well. That's one of my favorite things to do.
Okay, great. So this week's slideshow featured different jobs at Toronto Pearson. For example, we talked about an operations manager, we talked about a resource coordinator, mechanic, electrician, engineer, so many. We even heard from an air traffic controller, a custodian, what they do, and there's so many other jobs. So the question for you, Airport Explorers, to ask yourself is, do any of these jobs sound like something you'd like to do or you're good at? Do you have another job in mind for when you grow up? So let's use this activity to prepare yourself and myself for a future job. Hies, what kind of job were you thinking of?
When I was younger, I always wanted to be a firefighter, but I'm not great in small spaces, so that didn't end up being a good choice. But I guess that all worked out for the better, didn't it, Kathy?
I think where you are is a perfect fit for you. Okay, let's see the next slide. So Airport Explorers, think about the job you'd like. Think about what you'd like to be when you grow up. Think about what you're good at. So here's my list. Here are my hobbies, my list of hobbies. I love to play the piano. I love gardening with my family. I love meeting people, and I love watching airplanes. And here's what I do. I actually, in fact, work with people right now. I meet many new great people, and I still love watching airplanes. How about you, Hies? What kind of job skills did you need for the job that you're in?
I always loved working with people and trying to figure out solutions to problems. So those are definitely things that I can tick off my list and I'm applying every day in my job right now.
Yes. Yeah, those are great. I see you're like applying your skills right now in your job. So yeah. When you're done, Airport Explorers, listing your hobbies, think about the job that would best describe what you do. Then send us a drawing on that white piece of blank paper that we talked about of what you'd like to be when you grow up. We want to see those amazing photos sent to us because, you know, wouldn't you love to see some of the photos that our Airport Explorers send in?
I would love to see those amazing drawings, Kathy.
Amazing. So when you're done, send it in, Airport Explorers. Let's go exploring. We want to always discover new things with our Pearson Airport Explorers camps. We want to learn and use our imaginations, but most importantly, we want you to have lots of fun with our activities.
And that was, as usual, super fun. And I don't know, Case and Kathy, I don't know if you knew this, but when I was little, I wanted to be a teacher because I always liked talking to people. So I kind of do that with my job now.
Mm-hmm.
So Explorers, wow, so much we've covered this year. Thank you so much for joining us. And remember us to send in your drawing of what you'd like to be when you grow up for a chance to win some cool prizes. And if you want to, go back and do see the other two camps and fill out the work there, because your name, if you send us the work from the last two camps, you will be eligible for a draw for one of the for the Chromebook, which we'll be doing on December 18th. And I really want to thank our special guests today, Zara and Linda, for joining us. And I also want to thank our Airport Explorers for joining us today. So in the meantime, Airport Explorers, have a safe and happy holiday. And don't forget, you can go tobogganing at Danville Park. And we hope that you can join us in the new year for some more Explorer Camp fun. So this is Catherine, dashing through the snow and signing over and out.
This is Kathy, over and out, Airport Explorers.
Roger that, Kathy. Rudolph is cleared for landing. This is Case, over and out.
I had so much fun and learned so much. This is Ruba. Jingle bells, over and out.